Alright, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Clannad, episode 10. New arc, potentially?
Oh, definitely.
Probably.
Yeah. It's just a question of whether or not
Can't
they will
continue
be the
Fuko
sisters
anymore.
or not. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Yes, Kyo and Ryo. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be fun. But yes, you went through your first official arc of Clannad. Yeah, and now...
Yeah. In terms of having Fuko be a character that then we won't necessarily ever see or have referenced ever again, I'm kind of upset about that, but I'll live.
Just like Fuko probably will, only comatose.
I mean, I'm more just now wondering if this is a story about how every character in this story dies, you know?
It's secretly one of those, like, gangster shows where it's just, like, all these characters, and nope, by the end of it, they're all dead.
Yeah, it's basically just, just...
The show
awful.
ends with Okazaki and Sunahara's, like, lying with, like, bullet holes in his chest, and it's
Why?
like, Okazaki! Avenge us!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Deletes my internet browser history.
Yeah.
Sunahara would be that guy.
Definitely. Absolutely.
Okazaki would download his internet browser history and
He'd
send
check
it
through it. He'd check through it, laugh.
Yeah.
And then
send it to the school, basically. Yeah.
Oh,
But
man.
all right, let's see how, at the very least, maybe,
See what kind of new
Furukawa-
arc gets set up.
Well, no. Furukawa and her family are kind of dealing with this whole situation.
That's
as well.
true. Yeah.
And they kind of had some memories of her. Yeah.
Right. And then also what kind of place they have potentially in a new arc because, it was about Fuko, not them, but they were very involved in that. Yeah.
And some things developed as far as their relationship.
Indeed.
So that's one thing there. So, yeah. Y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. Everybody goes back to their normal lives. At least most everybody. She waited for you.
渚、何してるんだ。
岡崎さんの姿が見えたので一緒に行こうと思って待っていました。
Oh, did you?
ダメですか？
いや、そんなことはないけど。じゃあ行くか。部員集まらないな。
Death! His butt all presented.
Yeah.
Damn.
What happened to his back? Like,
大丈夫そうね。
I guess he is a cake man.
冗談よ冗談。
渚、お前は怪我しなかったか。
私は
No.
へ
Hey.
first name basis?
仲良くなったのね。
Mm-hmm.
名前で呼んだりなんかして。
Yeah.
ならそういうことにしときましょう。じゃ、お
I love the lace part coming over to keep her helmet on.
俺さ、お前のこといつから渚って。
When did you?
Good question.
When did you?
俺、今何か思い出しそうな。
Oh.
私もです。
行こうか、渚。
岡崎さん。
And that's gonna make their bond even stronger.
演劇部員の勧誘？
ああ、ついてきても面白いことないぞ。
そんなこと言うなよ。
Oh. It's an Ichinose arc?
お前、
Maybe.
本気で渚のこと好きなのか。
真剣に誰かを愛したのは初めてだ。
Oh, really?
先の図書室に謎の美少女が一人いて、いつも難しい本を読んでいる。話しかけると飯をおごってくれることもある。
Go.
めちゃくちゃ可愛くてピュアで頭が良くて、しかも彼氏もいない。
Yep. Sick him.
Really laying it on thick. Yeah.
敵に無視されました。
話しかけても口説いても一切反応しやがりません。
Your smaller sweet talk? Yeah.
まあ、僕らとは別の世界の住人ってことですね。
Yeah, of sorts.
無駄な時間使っちゃう。
More or less.
おい、琴美。琴美ちゃん。
ともやくん、こんにちは。
The results
Bookshelf.
of the destruction.
ともやくん、ご本を連れてきたらいけないの。
相変わらずだな、お前。
Amazing.
演劇部その人いじめない？
What? Yeah.
The last
Oh.
person that would ever bully somebody.
Oh.
ともやくんこんにちは
Rotate 90 degrees. Take 2 steps forward. Speak from the gut.
ひらがな3つでことみ呼ぶときはことみちゃん漢字一文字でなぎさです呼ぶときは人によって違うんですがなぎさちゃんはい
名前以外に話題はないのかお前ら
名字は一ノ瀬古川です
って何やってんだよ
Wait. What is that?
違う渚も何か言ってやれよ一緒に青春の涙を流しましょうとかなんとか言えよ
涙流さないとダメなのにそういう演技が必要な時は泣かなければいけないこともあると思います渚ちゃんいじめっ子違いますいじめっ子じゃないです団子大家族
Oh, they're best friends.
Yep.
It's
Can we
love.
just become best friends?
家族好きですか
I hate them. No, I'm just kidding.
大
Oh,
好き
And
okay.
that's that.
Yep.
今日ねちょっと怖かったの初めて会った人と話をするときはいつもそうなんだけど
okay.
渚ちゃん優しかったの
Yeah, hence the
そん
ignoring.
なに人見
Yeah.
知りなのになんで俺とはすぐに話せるようになったんだ
渚ちゃんとってもいい人団子大家族の絵も上手だし
まそういうことに
It's just that she doesn't see you as a person, you know?
ともやくんの恋人
Twice now. Same day.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. Assimilated into long-term memory.
Exactly.
Oh! Oh!
バカよせいくら本が好きだからって本屋や学校の本を切り抜いちゃった
Yeah.
せめてこっそり紙に書き写すとか
At
で
worst.
もそれも怒られそうだな
Yep.
そう
Yes. That's stealing.
Indeed.
もう少し他人と関わった方がいいぞお前
Should. It's a...
Yeah.
いじめるいじめる
Yes.
いじめないからとりあえず挨拶しろ
No, she bullies me. That's different.
Right.
よし
Exactly.
つかみは OK
Yes! Good job.
あのさ私どうすればいいわけ
No bully. That's it.
ことみひらがな3つでことみ
She does the exact same thing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yep.
いじめっ子
こいつとも友達になってくれないかなと思ってさ
頼まれて友達になるのってなんか違わない友達ってのは与えられるもんじゃなくて
True.
でしょ
Yep.
こんな時ばかりまともなこと言いやがって
だいたいなんであんたがこの子の面倒を見てるわけ
Yeah.
渚の手伝いはどうしたの
それも継続中だ俺は
I'm on her route right now, so give me break.
Cut me some slack. This is how the game works.
なんだ言ったか
別に
Wow.
じゃ私用事あるから
Yet
そ
another.
うそう
Based Kyo here.
じゃあね
Seeing the world for the way it really is. She's
Right.
like, throwing another rival in her path.
ちょっとずつ練習していこう目指すは友達100人だ
友達100
Oh.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
ごめん
Yep.
俺そんなに友達いないわいやここはハテナ顔じゃなくツッコミで返してもらわないと
なんでやねん君とはやっとれんわほなさいなら
善と多難だ
お友達ですか
Hey, it was an effort.
Yeah.
She kind of knew what was going on a little
Uh-huh.
bit.
ともやくんこんにちは
Yeah.
鮮度切れだぞ
We need a new shtick for you.
岡崎さんと一ノ瀬
You're already pretty below the Fuko meta at this point, you know.
Exactly.
仲間だとでも思ってくれ俺は不良でこっちは天才だけど
Now peer pressure Rio into being her friend.
She picked all 3 aces that she
3
could.
aces of spades. How did you do this?
一ノ
Uh-oh.
瀬さんには友達がいます
俺の努力を真っ向から全否定するな待て逃げても事態は変わらないぞ現実を直視するんだ
But hey, I guess you
That's
can
one
cry for
card.
the drama club.
Keep going.
そんなことないと思います
始めたろ友達はできないってきっぱり言い切っただろうが
But it's what the card
お
said.
願いは外れることもありますから悪い結果が出ても本人や周りの人
あー
の努力次第で
Good. You're not a
で
fatalist.
きると思いますし
それじゃあ友達になってもらえるのか
私でよければ
誰か適当なやつは 何やってんだよ、友よ。
Yes, yes.
パトロールじゃないよな。ぬいぐるみの点検でもしてるのか？そうだ、こいつに挨拶してみろよ。
Perfect. Aww.
気に入られたみたいだね。
Yep.
It's
お前
Tsunohara.
ってクマのぬいぐるみとか好きなのか？
Why would you think that?
大好き。
Because we're due for a joke. Never mind, never
Okay.
mind. We were due for a joke. It's just, I could, my
You know, I
Tsunohara
know,
senses
no,
were
I know. It
tingling.
would have been perfect, right?
ここを蹴り飛ばしたクマ！相変わらず見事な蹴りだ。
Ah, yes, it is indeed Tomoyo.
10 out of 10.
Yep.
よし。
Home ec, fun.
おやま。
Oh, wait,
今
no.
日は女の子とサボりかい？そうかい。あんたがあの一ノ瀬さんとこのことみちゃんかね。
知ってる？
Ah, you know the
こ
family.
の町で暮らしてれば知ってるものも多いだろうよ。何しろご両親が立派な学者さんだからね。
Oh. Oh.
Yeah.
教授かな？
Oh. Oh. Oh no. I know where this is going.
What are you talking about, Caleb?
Oh, bullying, yes.
でもまだお互いのことをよく知らないのよね。一緒にどっか遊びに行けばいろいろ分かり合える。
I'm not sure if I trust that look.
Yeah, yeah.
最小の見せ所だと思わない？
お前俺にたかる気か？
寮にも声かけとくから。
I don't plan, I do.
Indeed.
面白いとこってここ。
Yes, for a club.
あのね。
Yes.
ギネスとか
Yeah.
そういうのを期待してたのこっちは。チャンス作ってやったんだから活用しなさいよ。
Oh.
ここらであんたも前に出とかないとね。
Oh.
Aw.
もしよかったらお友達になってくれると嬉しいです。3年 B 組の古川渚です。
Oh, Nagisa helping, like,
Yep,
make her
responding
feel
in
like-
exactly the same way.
くれると嬉しいです。3年 B 組の
Mhm.
趣味は
よっ
占いです。もしよかったらお友達になってくれると嬉しいです。
3年 E 組の藤林京です。
趣味は弱い者いじめです。
もしよかったらお友達になってくれると嬉しいです。って誰の趣味が弱い者いじめよ。
He just,
見たかことみ。
Yep,
今
yep,
のツッコミ。
mhm.
この
That's
タイミングで
perfect.
つけるんだ。
Mm-hmm.
私本当はとても強い
Ha ha ha!
欲しいの。
Oh,
なんか私の思惑と違う。
beautiful.
そうお前ら全員演劇部に入れよ。これだけ人数がいりゃ生徒会に認めさせるには十分だ。
It's enough to become the student council. Ugh.
私も寮もお芝居やる気はないんだから。
私にも応援させてください。
I don't know why these girls' voice acting makes me sleepy. Like,
Yep.
you sound so like
変なグループ
I am.
They all
cute.
have that very same kind
Yeah.
of like intonation. And,
Yeah, it's.
Mm-hmm.
どうかしましたか、ことみちゃん。
おい、ことみ。
Violin?
Mm-hmm.
What's going on?
ストップストップ。力の入れすぎです。もっとリラックスして。
ダメだ、聞いちゃいね
うっとり。
ともや、なんなのこの子。
俺に聞くなよ。
Oh,
What a
that ending to an
strange
episode.
episode.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And probably because it's the beginning of the arc, they kind of lightly focused on a lot of people. But
To sort of touch base with everybody, that way you remember.
yeah, but they did a lot of foreshadowing, weirdly enough. Like,
They
there's
did.
a lot of, like, open-ended things that they're like, hey, we've done this before, so we're repeating it. So you,
Right.
like, remember that, like, this is a thing that's ongoing. And it's like, why are you touching on, like, 4 different things of that in one episode? Okay.
Yeah. And then that whole bit with the robot at the beginning.
Well, that's its own whole thing. All right, we have a new arc, and we're focusing
do.
not on the sisters, although we did focus on the sisters a
Right.
little bit. It's
bit,
going
but-
to be a Kotomi Ichinose arc.
Indeed.
So,
Yes.
how long will this arc be? I'm guessing it's going to be around the same length as the Fuko arc, which I will just say I'm a little bit worried about that because pacing-wise, this feels like a much harder to get into story kind of dynamic here, because Foucault's is one that had this inherent mystery built around the idea of what even is her deal.
what's the supernatural aspect, Foucault's character being very rambunctious and like high energy, you know.
But Ichinose is much easier to figure out, I would say. It's not really a thing of where I can like tell all the details here, but the idea is that she's the girl of high expectations. Her parents were the ones with the incredibly high esteem and social renown, and the idea of her lack of confidence being something where her parents probably bullied her into being as smart as possible, and she struggles to meet up their expectations. That's my prediction. We'll see what goes on from there, but I would be surprised if it's too far away from that.
Right, even if it's not those details exactly, it's something along those lines.
It's along those lines, probably. Yeah. But, okay, cool. This is a fun way to set up something where Nagisa can then be really helpful, because she has a very good relationship with her parents. And
hey,
you can
there
set
you
up
go.
A really happy, wholesome, fun location where eventually it can go the same way as the Foucault arc did, where they eventually go over to the Furukawa household, and things are just wonderful, and she sees what
Akio and Sanai get up to their antics, and it's adorable.
And it's just going to be great. All right, cool. If that's the formula that we get here, where we touch upon a lot of the students in the beginning to let us know where they're all at with their respective arcs and they're going on, cool. And then we slowly isolate the main duo with whoever their arc character focus is.
Yep.
All right. I'll just say it. I think that this is a formula that could absolutely work. It just banks really hard on that trio being the main aspect of the story. And right now, I need more time with Ichinose.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm not really as attached to her.
And I totally get you on that front. I mentioned this before we got into the discussion, but this was actually the arc that I had the most trouble getting through Clannad as a result of, because back
when you watched this,
back when I
7 years ago or something?
Or no, more, probably
because how old is Clannad? 2007, 2008?
2007, 2007, 2008, somewhere around there.
So before you even started watching
but this would have been like nine years ago or something, like somewhere around there. And because I feel like both of us kind of got this a bit in the episode when Ryo, Kotomi, and Nagisa were all talking at the same time. They have that yes, we have the cutesy voice and stuff, and it just makes me
it blurred together,
and it makes me want to fall asleep.
Yep.
It's because I think that's
bless these characters. They're so sweet and adorable, but I need a little bit more energy,
pizzazz and energy
and individuality in a weird way, because I really like the sisters, and I really like the mystery of the idea that the older sister is really looking out for the younger one and trying to set her up potentially with Okazaki. But the thing is that, there's a lot of rivals in that dynamic. It's not necessarily a thing where Nagisa is the one getting all these rivals put in her way, but it's actually
maybe
Ryo.
The other person who also has a ton of confidence issues and, might not feel comfortable being direct about what they want.
It's very possible.
Yeah. And then
hey, set this up. Come on, make the most of it.
Exactly. And then the fact that Kyo will comment on Okazaki calling Nagisa by her first name, but then at the same time, she calls Okazaki by his first name. And it's oh, wait, hold on. If you're assuming that he's dating Nagisa because he's calling her by his first name, and you're calling him by his first name, and you're trying to set up your sister with him.
Who likes who here?
Who likes who? I wonder if that could get complicated. But,
it's the kind of thing where I can feel that light bit of, VN harem adaptation thing where there's no actual harem. It's just the idea of every route that he goes on is one where the girls have a theoretical possible chance of liking him, but the anime doesn't explore.
Since you can only do one playthrough basically in the anime.
Yeah, he's going to go the Nagisa route ultimately because she's the one that gets, the main, focus and time throughout
throughout the show,
individual arcs, you know, and that just makes
from what
sense.
we've seen so far.
From what we've seen so far. The main thing that I'm really hoping that stands out from this arc compared to the Foucault arc, though, is that if you're going to bring in these characters for doing their little bits of foreshadowing of what's going on with them individually here, maybe follow up with that a little bit. Don't just have this be a trio here. Like, have one of them be comboed in a little bit with Ichinose, just here in general.
Yeah.
Like, maybe have, I don't know, any of the sisters. I mean...
Well, and that's something where we'll
like
have to see how they do it going into the next one, because even Nagisa, she kind of got pseudo-comboed in with Fuko's arc a little bit.
And she kind of got shunted out so far in this episode.
And so, theoretically, depending on how the show wants to take it, we could see something where maybe the sisters end up kind of getting wrapped in with Kotomi's arc a bit, and that could maybe be how the burden of, like, plot moving forward is shared when Kotomi, the probably technical focus character for this arc, is very quiet, you know? So, who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Also, the mechanical animal thing.
Yeah. The bear robot thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to, like, try and read too much into it to guess it, but the OP is starting to look more and more like a direct connection point to that whole side of things. And there's, weirdly enough, a little bit of time shenanigans involved in the description points of that. And that's something that makes me wonder that this point of reference, this person that's speaking to a mechanical, like, teddy bear of sorts or what have you, is actually not a character we've met yet. It's someone from the future or something like that. And they're kind of setting up... Well, there's the meta knowledge that this story continues with something called After Story. And I feel like this might be the foreshadowing for whatever that transition is. And that it's just a character that's going to be kind of whatever is, like, the point of transition in that regard to...
And that would make sense then why it's kind of like being told separately from the story that's happening
out of
here.
order. It's non-linear. And yet, I didn't mind the Fuko supernatural stuff, but I really didn't like the memory manipulation removal thing there. So if they're going to do...
Because it kind of felt like it cheapened some of the things that happened in the arc.
I would love to have that be the only supernatural thing there. But if we're going to do some time shenanigans, non-linear, to you in the future, to you from you in the past kind of stuff here, I really hope it doesn't just sacrifice the characters along the way, because I really feel like Nagisa, Okazaki, I don't know why I call them one first name and one last name a lot.
Who knows? I mean, they do that with each other, you know?
That's true, but not really in the way that...
Because she still isn't calling him by his first name.
Yeah,
she's
that's
still calling
true.
him Okazaki-san.
That's true. Huh.
Yeah.
But I really would like the story to primarily focus on them. I really do like their dynamic, and having that be more of the focus, I think, would be really good. But okay. All right. Let's focus on Ichinose. Her social anxiety being a huge part of this, meaning that she does actually have the capacity to interact with people, and she really does want to make friends. It's just a fear thing.
Right. And because of the fear, she hasn't had any experience with it, really, and she hasn't been forced to. So all of a sudden, when Okazaki gives her, like, a thing that she can say, she switches from the thing that was her speech, her script, you know, that she would say whenever she met somebody, to that, and she uses that as her new script, right? And it's a better script, but it's still totally a script, right?
Yeah, so now I'm wondering... Is there some kind of point where we'll basically see her taking a little bit more impetus in the story towards the end of this, and that'll be her way of reconciling things with her parents? Or is this the thing of where she'll be confident enough to explore her feelings with maybe one or more of the characters?
Sure.
Because I feel like this episode is half an episode for me. It's just
right, because it didn't
really give us as much of her kind of perspective on the whole
Right.
thing.
It's the teaser to the arc because half of the episode was spent basically doing the
catch up with all the characters.
Catch up with everyone else, right? And I think that stuff's good to have. It's, it's good to see them so that way when we get their arcs, it doesn't feel like it's coming out of left field of like, oh yeah, who is this person again?
Yeah.
But, that means that then we don't get as much time spent on the meat and potatoes of the arc. Cool. There's this guy that shows up at the end, for like 2 seconds. That probably means something.
Yeah, it's a setup for the next episode.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it's also one of those things where like I feel like as a contrast to Fuko's arc was something where because of the supernatural elements and the whole comatose ghost thing, it was a very concrete means of or concrete conflict for like the arc to focus on, even if they didn't know how they were going to resolve it, right? Because, okay, it's a supernatural thing. We don't know how it works. We're doing what we can, but it's also kind of guesswork, Whereas in Kotomi's case, until some supernatural arc presents itself or doesn't or whatever, it seems like it's more of a character thing. And since we don't really know Kotomi that well, we're going to have to get to know her and see where, the issues lie and what ways she can most grow.
Yeah, I want to throw out a theory here that kind of contextualizes what I meant by time-related stuff here. In the beginning part of the episode with focusing on this girl who's interacting with the Mechano Bear, she mentions that I was in a different world a long time ago or perhaps the distant future.
Feels kind of on the nose toward some kind of time shenanigans.
Yeah, but I want to throw out the idea here that we kind of might know exactly what this is.
Okay.
In that Nagisa as a character is as one that's set up to have the kind of moment.
Anime cough or something?
Yeah. But the question is, when she had her health issues, what if she died for a little bit of time? Like she was brain dead for a little bit of time. And then bounced back. And she kind of came back and she feels like she's gotten her second chance at life.
Sure, and this is her when she was younger or a child or something like that.
No. This is her imagining and trying to reconcile what it was like to be dead for a period of time.
Okay.
And
all right.
The place where time has no meaning. The place with all these lights and all this stuff here. It feels very supernatural and spiritual. It doesn't feel like a direct literal representation of anything. It's a metaphor for some things.
And with the way that it's animated and portrayed and drawn, it very much has that ethereal kind of quality to it.
Yep.
Even down to some of the sound choices and stuff.
Yes. So I want to throw out that there was a point where she had like an out-of-body experience or something like that. And it's a memory that she has, but it's also like, something that's kind of out of time. It doesn't have a...
Yeah, I like it. Okay.
Yeah. So that's my current kind of look at that if I was to condense it into something. But I feel like it could also be a, look at a future character. There's a whole bunch of things it could be. I just...
Right. A lot of the designs in the show so far are fairly similar. So when certain characters look similar in particular ways, does that mean they're like, it's the same person or, they're related somehow or something like that? Or is it just a coincidence and it's a whole new character?
Right. Because there were a couple things that a lot of the characters said in this episode that very much felt like a writer inserts line to make you go, wait a minute. Yeah. That's an odd choice here. Like the point that Ichinose
like rewatch
said,
fuel kind of a thing?
Yeah. But the idea that Ichinose said, well established. And I was like, that's a very odd choice of words.
Right. Is she just being formal with like her, the way she speaks? Or
yeah, I don't think she was doing that at all. I think she was being very pointed because she's repeating something that she's heard. And the fact that her parents are these well-established scholars, if you will, very much was that's it. That was the thing. That was why the creator decided this is the word I will use. This is the adjective of choice here. There were a couple other moments that felt like, so many rivals, basically. It was like, yes, okay, gotcha. There's another foreshadowing bit there. There were a couple other ones I just kind of wanted to lightly just call it as be like,
oh yeah,
I've noticed that's a
thing.
Yeah. Hold on. So it's being kind of dumb here. Kind of the idea that Sunahara has been more and more just repeatedly, and it's almost like a
is it a comedy gag or is it something more?
It's not a comedy gag anymore, basically. Like at this point, Sunahara is the kind of character where his things that get repeated, if they're comedic, they get absolutely beaten over the head with the fact that this is comedy. We're going to kick him into the sky.
Right.
Whoa.
Yeah, Sunahara himself gets beaten over the head quite a few times.
Yeah. And the fact that he's like, don't be such a stranger. I want to help Nagi-sen-chan too. And it's like, oh yeah, you're a good boy, good boy. But then he follows that up with well, one, it's funny. Tomoya kind of stops in his tracks like, wait, do you seriously like her?
Right.
Kind of like for the audience to be like, hey, this is a serious thing. And then he goes, of course. And it's like, well,
right.
It's Sunahara, so it can't be serious,
well,
right?
And no one remembers, but not even Tomoya, but just an episode or two ago, you were obsessing over Fuko. You know.
Well, yeah, that's true.
So,
but he uses this as a test point. But the idea is that this is not the joke. This is the setup to the joke that he then points him to Ichinose.
Right.
But if Ichinose is going to be the focus of an arc, that means she can't be Endgame, basically, at this point. So far, like, the characters that have been focused on an arc end up getting yeeted out of the story.
This is taking me back to Origairu, where it's like, oh, well, shit, you're
but he
playing
says,
your
I've
cards
never
too
loved
early.
anyone so seriously before.
That's a very serious line.
That's a very serious line, and the way he says it, I don't think is actually that comedic. I think he believes it in this moment.
Sure, Tomoya might not be taking him seriously, maybe. But that doesn't necessarily mean that Sunahara isn't serious.
Yeah, and then the idea that we might be setting up rivals in general for romance in the future, that means Sunahara could theoretically be a rival for you, buddy. So just
possibly,
think about that. This was something I needed to just check the subtitles.
Oh yeah,
here.
The whole thing with the box or whatever. Like it almost seemed like it was going to be one of those like, this is a comically large anime bento or something, but.
So are you right? And she's like, is this a Tamate Bako? Oh, that's funny. That's something that they referenced in One Piece, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Tamate Bako. A box from the story, Urashima Taro, with smoke inside that ages those who get covered by it. Okay. That's...
Just seeing that scene made me want to sneeze.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, where was the other one that felt a little bit... pointed here. Yes. The confrontation with the sister here.
Yeah.
Where she's like, hey, why did you hang out with a bum like you? And you're friends are supposed to make them. You kind of have to this is the point here. Friends aren't given. You're supposed to make them, which is funny because then later in the episode, she seems to be trying to set up her sister to get closer to Tomoya.
That's fun.
Is the idea that she's like, this is something that she probably says to her sister to be like, hey, I can't make this happen for you.
I can lead the horse to water, but I can't make you drink. So I
can't give you a relationship with him.
She even sets her sister up to be in a situation where it's like, hey, you could join his club where there aren't many people, but Ryo is who is more socially anxious, inept, Ryo or Kotomi? Because I feel like they gave each other a run for their money.
It's pretty rough. In a funny way, this is something that I wonder a little bit.
Yeah.
But a lot of these characters, the girls at the very least, have a little bit of the cutesy thing, where I'm waiting for which one of them is the one that's basically putting on the biggest act.
Oh, sure.
And so far, the one who might have actually been the biggest bully, not necessarily intentionally, but potentially to Ichinose, was actually Ryo by saying, "Oh, sorry, looks like you won't make any friends."
And the thing is that would that be something that would be done because of her own social awkwardness? Would it be something where maybe it's just, that's what the cards say? Or could it be something where she also likes Okazaki and suddenly this girl's clinging to her and she's like, maybe I don't like that.
Yeah. That was...
Who's to say?
One of the things I kind of noticed there. What did she end the kind of conversation with? There are times when fortune telling fails. It's like I'm backing out. No, don't worry.
Right.
It might not be that. Even if the reading comes out bad, the future should be changeable depending on the individual and surroundings.
And that's another thing that feels very pointed, where it's because we just had an arc where the supernatural was confirmed to be a thing, and now she's like, I'm into fortune telling, but sometimes fortune telling doesn't work. Wait, you're telling me that
the thing
most
that
of the time it works?
Is,
like,
Yeah. It's something that feels very like pointed at her character specifically.
Right. And then,
this thing that's my hobby, I'll just let you know.
It's serious, but it doesn't always work. But then at the same time, the person who is too insecure to make a move on the guy that I like, is going to say that there's no fate, only what we make.
Right.
It's like
seems a bit hypocritical, don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Tamayo was in this episode. Kind of, technically, allegedly. Yeah. I totally got the vibe, though, back when I watched this, that it was Tsunohara as well there. And, like, even rewatching that scene and not knowing, like, because, I forgot, whether this was or not, right? I was totally expecting it to be Tsunohara, too.
Yeah.
Like, right there with you.
And then the other thing was the violin, which I think, after, like, getting a little bit of time to think about it, because I was like, this is obviously foreshadowing for something. What is it? I need to think about this. Okay, cool. If her parents are the ones that have been putting on potentially high expectations.
High society, sort of well-to-do.
Right. There was probably a point where she was very passionate about the violin, but she wasn't good at it, so her parents were like, drop this. No, you shouldn't do this. So, no, you're not allowed to play the violin. Go study. So she hears the violin, and she's like, oh, right. I forgot about that. That was something that I really liked and wanted to do. She plays it, and it's awful.
Absolutely awful.
It's like a nightmare taken, physical form.
Yep.
So
glass breaking, shattering.
God, that was funny. But that's my thing of where this arc worries me in terms of the pacing structure, but the episode itself was weirdly jam-packed of things that feel like they don't have anything to do with this arc, if that makes sense.
And with the next episode, that's probably where we'll get the good vibe of what kind of arc, this is going to be.
Yep.
Who is that mysterious dude that randomly shows up for a second and a half at the end of the episode? Yeah, right. But clearly he's probably here for some reason, But yeah.
But all right, that's basically it. Yes, interesting choice of episode structure. But yeah, y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
We stream every weekday. The info's in the description.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all
next time.